Hey besties, ever feel like your brain is just getting hit with too much all at once? Notifications, noise, constant input, and suddenly you cannot focus, even on the things that actually kind of just need to get done. On today's episode, we're exploring the powerful connection between nature and our ability to refocus. Because while many of us are living in a constant state of overstimulation, there is something about stepping into nature that helps our brain reset in a way nothing else quite does. We're getting into the science behind what overstimulation really is and why being outside supports our attention and how nature gently engages our brains differently than the constant demands of everyday life. Bear with us a little bit as we talk about some of that messy, noisy things that creates the overstimulation to begin with. And don't worry, if you're not really the outdoorsy type, we've got you covered with some simple tools too. Because even small moments with nature can help us feel more clear, grounded, and a little more focused. We are so glad you're here.
Else that's me. I'm unbreakable, unstoppable.
Hi, you all. How are you today? Let's do that self-assessment. We'll formally ask you how we're doing in this moment. Reminder, that gentle scale of 0, common at peace, all the way up to 5. Where would you self-assess today?
Yeah, I think I'm probably maybe a 1.5 or a 2, a little higher than normal, but it's not like bad stuff. Just a lot going on. Excited about the weekend coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going with a 1. No real reason why or why not.
There doesn't have to be.
I think it's the end of a week and feeling just good.
Yeah. I would also put myself at a 1 today. This topic, y'all, is one of my happy places. So I am very excited, which one is usually just a hair lower than my baseline. So I'm excited about today's conversation too. So, because we're talking all about nature. And we know there's lots of benefit, science is leading towards the fact that there are lots of benefits from nature, but we're going to specifically focus on focus. We're going to focus on focus today and how nature helps us with that. I think the best place to start though is maybe the opposite side of focus, and the what I kind of view as the opposite side is that space of overstimulation, because I'm not sure about either of you. But my brain frequently these days just feels maxed and like there's so much input. Everything from notifications on my phone to my kiddos having multiple conversations and kind of inundating with all the questions to LED lighting and sounds and noises. It feels like a lot for my brain to process at one time. So what I am curious about is how overstimulation might be impacting our ability to focus. How are you all seeing this show up in your day-to-day?
I've never experienced that, Bailey. I've never been so overstimulated once. Just kidding. All the time. I feel like I'm overstimulated. And it's the things you say. It's there. I have 87 tabs open on my computer at any one point in time. I have Teams notifications and dings and all the things happening in the world and at home and people, and just it's all over. It's all over.
Yeah. I'm also guilty of the 2,700 tabs at one time.
And then your computer crashes and you lose all the tabs. And that's like, another overstimulation because the tabs are gone.
Yep.
Yeah, I learned that having all those tabs really does make overwhelms the computer. Weird. Told that a few times now. For me, I think it sneaks up on me. So I think I'm doing great, but then all of those I guess it's when I'm already in a task and then something else comes up and I'm thinking, I haven't finished the first thing. So it just kind of springs up, but it's all the same stuff. It's kind of balancing all the things that just kind of pop up and that have kind of been ingrained, I guess, into our world these days.
Yes, they really have been.
Are there particular situations or ways that you know that you are overstimulated? And I ask this maybe from a bit of a selfish example, because I don't know, some people might relate to this experience, but I have 2 very wonderful, curious humans that are 9 and 11. And we are in this phase of life, like my overstimulation oftentimes happens with noise and sound. And we're in this phase of life right now where we will be in the car as a family and the kids are like, put some music on. We're so excited. And so we turn the music on. We're jamming out as a family. And then somebody asks a question, which we ask a lot of questions in our family. We love that. Curiosity is something that we value. And so one question gets asked. Our girls know enough now to try not to interrupt, but it's like so they'll ask an adult a question. The adult answers the second that question is answered. The next question is coming, or the next person is starting a different conversation. Y'all, it is no joke that there are times in our car where 3 separate conversations are going on at the same time. My spouse and I are trying to talk about, like, what are we going to have for dinner for the weekend? Do we need to go grocery shopping? And the second we pause to take a breath, somebody is talking about, like, what to expect for the weekend. And then the next kiddo, as soon as that question stops, is asking about cheetahs, and which is a conversation that technically ended 20 minutes ago, but we're going back to the so. And I'm just like, and then
not to mention trying to drive and like keep everybody safe and make sure seatbelts are still on and just all the things.
And then the kicker is the second that there is enough gap, then somebody goes, why is the music turned down low? I can't hear the music anymore. And we're just like,
it's quiet time in the car right now.
We will institute question breaks. It's like, okay, mom and dad need a 5-minute question break. So you each get one more question. And then we're taking a break. So that may be a very personal, selfish example.
Does it ever equal more than 5 minutes?
No, probably. Because my kids are probably about as bad as telling time as I am. So, yeah. So anyway, what does that look like for you all?
Yeah.
How does that show up?
I think I get preemptively overstimulated. We do a lot of networking events in our job and like things where we're peopling a lot, which I love. I love people. And I get very overstimulated in those events because I'm like on all the time, but I'm also like monitoring faces to make sure everybody's having a good time and everybody's safe. And there's 800 conversations happening around me and there's always music that's just a little too loud and people are touching me and I don't like strangers touching me and they're like in my space and then it gets hot and yes. So that happens anytime that I go to networking events or concerts or ball games, or I get a little preemptively overstimulated because I'm like, oh, this is going to happen. And then I'm like, my body is just like, I don't want to go anymore.
Yeah.
And then I go and it's fine. And then I'm exhausted afterward. So that's
yours sounds very sensory rooted as well.
Very sensory. Yep. Yeah. Lots of too much sound, too many conversations because my brain is like, our brains are safety brains and it's trying to monitor everything that's happening. And then also like I'm uncomfortable and my blazer doesn't fit just right and things are too tight and like it's just
now I want to take layers off, but then I get cold and put them back on, and oh yes, all the things.
It's like anticipatory, right? It's happened before, so you kind of know what to expect, but you know yourself too, you know. But
which is not helpful because then I'm like overstimulated as I go into it.
That makes me think of the concept of attention fatigue. And Shelb, I'm going to lean on you because attention fatigue has like this really elaborate definition.
Yes, definition.
But you do such a beautiful job of explaining things in real human terms.
Not pressure at all, Bailey. Thank you. So yeah, attention fatigue is really just what it sounds like, right? We know about decision fatigue and things like that. Attention fatigue is just when our brains are at their max. We tell ourselves, if I have 20 minutes of quiet time, I will be able to focus on this task and just do this one task and it will be great and I will finish it and I can check it off. And the reality is we get about 10 minutes into that and our brain is like, bloop, I don't like this anymore. So it's just like off to the races. It's tired. Sometimes it's brain fog, but it's just like this situation where our brain is just like, not doing it anymore.
Hard to think, hard to even like get your thoughts out.
I don't want to focus on this anymore.
Yeah. Well, and I love that's a very formal definition of bloop.
Thank you.
And you have to say
the bloop directly from the DSM-5. Thank you.
Good to know.
It was not legally. That was a joke.
We have to clarify. Please.
Well, and I think fatigue is interesting too. I think, gosh, I immediately go to fatigue if it's something like heavy lifting, like literally maybe if we're working out or we've been moving lots of boxes every day, that the idea of being both like physically drained and mentally drained when you do stuff like that. Yeah. But that's the same thing, like that fatigue doesn't go away with just a small nap.
No.
Or just a little bit of a quick breather, or just a little step away. It's just still there, and it's not the best to kind of just push through because it just doesn't work out.
Yep.
Well, and that fatigue space also takes me to this concept of attention restoration theory. And it, again, kind of goes back to a little bit of your example too with fatigue and focus. And attention restoration theory says that we have soft fascination or soft focus, and then we have intense focus. And things that draw our intense focus are things like those to-do list items, a creative endeavor, having to write the email. They need our intense focus, and we really have to pay attention. But that soft fascination or soft focus are things more where we're paying attention, but we're not having to be so hypervigilant or so intensely involved. Things like, I think about nature because that's what we're talking about, and that's kind of where we're going. But when you are standing outside and you are noticing the birds chirping, that doesn't take a lot of effort, but you're just paying attention to it. That is also focus, but a different flavor of focus.
And we don't have to do anything with
Yes.
it. I think is the distinction there.
Yeah. One is a very cognitive process, like I'm having to get all of my thinking resources online. The other is much more an awareness process where we can just kind of be in that, right? And I don't know about you all, but I notice pretty frequently that when I give myself permission to step outside, it can be sort of that breath of fresh air and
literally.
Yeah, quite literally. And that reset. So how does nature, just curious, your all's perspective on this is, how does nature engage our attention differently than those things that maybe overstimulate us or creating that need for hard focus?
Yeah. I think it's kind of what you said. It's stimulating in a soft way, right? Mm-hmm. It's not the LED lights and the blue light from our phones and thinking about what we're having to do next and making sure all the balls stay up in the air and nothing drops. It's that soft focus. It's, the birds are chirping. That's nice. I haven't thought about that in weeks. Or, wow, the breeze feels really nice on my skin. And that feels so much different than the Arctic air blowing from the air conditioner in our office. And it's just it's human beings. It's human beings instead of human doings. Yeah. And I think that's kind of the distinction for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nature has that, stuff that's just already there for us. Mm-hmm. So, for instance, the sunshine and the vitamin D that it gives us. Again, Shelby mentioned just a breeze, being able to, it's almost, I guess it's using different senses even, but hearing the wind blow through leaves, or if I were on a run on the gravel and the crunch under my feet, it's stuff that I start to look forward to. Yeah. And it just becomes this extra rhythm for my body that's unlike what I would get sitting in the office or driving in the car. It's just a whole different experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and our main focus today is focus. However, the research suggests that being out in nature is also beneficial for us emotionally and mentally as well. So I'm curious, what do you all notice about how nature can improve your emotional well-being?
Yeah, I actually have a real life example for this one. A couple months ago, our team got some really bad news, like detrimental news. It was not good. And we were all very, very heightened. And our immediate focus was, how can we support the people? How can we do, what is the next step? And truth be told, y'all, if we had continued with that conversation, it would not have been productive. We wouldn't have gotten anything done.
We were spiraling.
Yeah. We were spiraling.
Yeah, we were feeling it.
Yes,
it was like everybody else was.
It was not good. We were feeling it and trying not to feel it because we knew we had to support the people and do the things. Mm-hmm. And so we just went outside. we took a lap around the building, completely unprepared. It was very cold. We did not put our coats on.
Nope.
But by the time we got back, we had felt the breeze and the kind of crisp air, and it had helped really regulate our systems. And part of that was probably moving our bodies and getting away from the situation, but it was also allowing ourselves just to be in nature. All we had to do in those 5 minutes it took us to get around the building was walk and breathe and look at the turkeys and watch the wind in the leaves. And we just had to be. And by the time we got back, we were more regulated and in a much more productive space.
Yeah.
And it didn't solve everything.
No.
Like
No.
it didn't make things go
No.
away. It just gave our nervous systems and brains the reset that it needed.
Yep.
Yeah, and we still talk to each other, and we still, we stayed together in that too. So we were still, showing each other that we were supporting each other, but being outside in that crispness was,
Yeah,
a good suggestion, and we took it. We took
We
our
sure did.
suggestion.
We
Yeah.
sure did.
we did. And I feel like it was impactful. I don't even know whose brilliant idea it was. I can't remember, but I'm just really grateful. Oh, it was Shelby's brilliant idea.
And we're like, yes.
Yep.
I will take the credit for that.
You deserve it. So there is this sort of common joke, but it's also the truth on our team that Nia and I tend to be very outdoorsy humans.
Definitely.
Like we are in kayaks, we are out in the wilderness doing a hike. Nia even goes
Backpacking.
camping.
Camping.
So we are very outdoorsy.
Definitely.
However, our dear friend Shelb here describes herself more as outsidesy. So,
I sure do.
Shelby, can you explain what outsidesy versus outdoorsy means? And then also for those of us who either feel a little disconnected from nature or don't feel safe in nature,
Yeah.
or maybe more outsidesy, how can we engage in nature?
Yeah. So first off, that outsidesy language comes from a dear friend of ours. So it just brings me a little bit of joy every time we get to talk about it. But to me, outsidesy versus outdoorsy. Outdoorsy feels like we have our backpacks on. We are taking a 10-mile hike up a mountain. We're eating granola bars. We're maybe sleeping outside.
I feel like you have some
Which-
stereotypes. We eat a lot of granola bars.
Sounds like I've got backpacks.
Which is great if that is your thing, right? Outsidesy is more enjoying the short things. Maybe we do enjoy a float down the river, but only if the weather is appropriate and we have our bug spray and our sunscreen, and it's not 1,000,000 degrees outside. Or it is really, really loving to eat dinner outside on a patio or have a picnic, but maybe not necessarily sleep outside because we like to be climate controlled. Things like that. So it is that, like, I love that you guys love to hike and camp and do all the things. That's not what I enjoy. So I am outsidesy instead of outdoorsy.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
But for those of us that maybe don't want to hike or can't hike or don't have easy access to nature, or maybe our bodies don't allow us to be out on the mountain even if we want to be, there are a ton of little tiny things that we can do. It is sitting outside in the sunshine and enjoying dinner on the patio with bug spray and citronella.
Large hat.
The mosquitoes love me. I have to protect myself. It is bringing a plant inside or listening to beach waves and whale songs instead of music. It is those little bite-sized pieces that we can fit into our really busy schedule. It's stepping outside and feeling the sun on our face.
Yeah.
It's rolling the windows down on the drive home and listening to the breeze and feeling the sun on our skin.
Yeah, I love that. And like you mentioned, it's really important for folks like maybe nature is not immediately accessible, or that we're not able to go outside, or we just don't have time, or maybe we don't feel safe outdoors
which is
for
also
whatever
fair.
reason.
Yeah.
And so finding those spaces that are tangible, or maybe you have 2 minutes between a meeting and the next thing to actually like engage in some kind of nature, and I need that reset, but I don't actually physically have time to step outside. I think where this is kind of going is there is some unique research that's coming out of England at the University of Sussex about how it's potential that even virtual nature experiences can make an impact on our focus. That's still being conducted. And, you know, we know that science is always changing and we're learning new things, but I'm really curious to see how impactful even those virtual spaces can be to just give us a quick reset when full immersion in nature is not possible.
Yeah. And that feels like a great use of technology, right?
It
Things
does.
like VR headsets and soundscapes. And
Definitely.
Yes.
that feels like a great way to get that in when we can't be outside.
Well, and it creates, and this is very therapist of me, I have a favorite feeling to experience, and that is a feeling of awe, which happens for me a lot in nature. And it is, for me, it is the experience of feeling immensely small and kind of insignificant while also feeling a part of something greater all at the same time. I love that deep connection to the natural world and the environment. And I can say that at least what I observed, even with people with the VR headsets, is that sense of awe maybe, or that experience of like that breath where you're just like, oh my gosh, like wonder and awe are those two things. So maybe we'll see what the research bears out. Maybe it's even possible to get some of those experiences virtually too.
Yeah. Very cool. Awesome.
The follow-up episode to this actually is leaning into some of those things a little bit. We're going to focus specifically on sound and nature for looking for that reset. So I'm excited for us to actually get into a practice with a Be Well moment following this. So besties, if you would like a practice and to go through a soundscape with us in nature for a little bit of reset, a little bit of focus, if you're feeling overstimulated, join us for our Be Well moment, episode 18, where we're actually going to practice a bit of immersion with nature to reset and refocus our brains. Take care and be well, besties.
Else that's